and we get into the section of the show that we call the Central Africa Wrap. This happens on Thursdays, where we zoom into news making headlines and specifically on the Central African region of our continent. And we have our analysts to join us and delve deeper into these stories. Some of them we would have touched on our Africa Roundup, and others are new stories that we can expect to develop in this new day and maybe tomorrow, as well as the weekend. And we're joined now by geopolitical analyst Aaron Ngambi to have this discussion. Aaron, happy Thursday, happy Friday Eve, as my colleague Peter would call it. How are you?
Thank you. And how are you, Asanda?
I'm well, thank you so much. And thanks for making time. It's always great to have these catch up sessions with you. Today we start with Chad. So Chad has decided to cut ties with a wildlife organization or conservation organization that's linked to the UK's Prince Harry. What is the country finding controversial about this partnership, and what are their complaints?
So today, Chad has decided to cut ties with an organization called African Parks. As you have rightly pointed out, this is an organization that Prince Harry was actually president for almost 6 years. And then after that term of office, he became a board member. So by and large, this is his organization, is very much involved with his organization. But the government of Chad has accused this organization that they are actually not very serious about addressing issues of poaching in the parks that they're responsible for. They're actually responsible for two large national parks in Chad. And their aim was basically to preserve ecosystems and preserve wildlife and take care of things like that. But it seems like the government of Chad is not happy about the works that this organization has been doing, and they accuse it of actually engaging in other things rather than what they're supposed to be doing.
What is the response then of the Duke of Sussex to this? It's quite a serious one. Poaching.
Yeah, he is, of course, not very happy about that, but this is not the first time that he's entangled in controversy. We do know that also there was another organization, non-profit organization or NGO that he was affiliated with out of Lesotho, and this was supposed to be an orphanage taking care of orphans of HIV and AIDS in victims. But even that itself was a controversial thing. He was implicated in all sorts of things in terms of even monies, but it seems like he is going to do everything he can to actually protect his name. But as things stand right now, the Chad government is not happy with African parks. They think that the organization pretends to be preserving or conserving wildlife, but it is involved in all sorts of animal poaching.
So, what does this mean then for other national parks that are under this organization? It has 22 in total.
Yeah, it has 22 national parks, but across almost 12 countries. So they're not only operating in Chad, they're operating in other countries as well within Africa. And so it seems like these allegations might trigger an effect where other countries might look into the specific activities of African parks and see if China has anything substantive to support their claims. And if they do, we can only predict that perhaps even in those countries, they'll be terminated.
Okay, let's move to the Central African Republic now, where an activist and government critic of the country was called to come back home. And then, after coming home, he was thrown into jail. So, firstly, where was this Dominic Desiree Erenon in exile?
Dominic Desiree Ernon was in France. He's been living in France since 2022. And he yielded to a call by the Central African Republic president, President Touadera, that all the citizens of that country or in the diaspora should come home. I guess it was just an appeal to try to make it seem like there is change in the Central African Republic, and that those who are in the diaspora can come and actually be able to contribute to the development or to what is happening there. If you recall that the Central African Republic will be going to the elections in December, and so Desiree, Dominic Desiree was a critique of this government. In fact, he's been a politician by default. He runs a political party, and he was criticizing the government outside of the country in France for over 3 years. And he thought that because the president has issued this appeal for the diasporans to come home, he thought that it would be a good idea that he would come home and be able to agitate or participate in his politics at home. But little did he know that upon arrival, he was arrested by the security forces, and he's been in detention since.
What are the opposition supporters, particularly those under his party, the March for Democracy and the People's Salvation Party, which he leads, saying?
Well, they're calling for his release. They think that this is unfounded. The accusations against him are unfounded because he hasn't officially been charged of anything. And so they are holding him against his will. And so, together with his family and members of his political party, they are following the case, as they say. And if needs for the legal counsel, they will go ahead and find legal counsel for him so that they can represent him and be off the hook. But like I said, officially, he hasn't been charged of anything. This seems to be just one of those tactics that these African politicians use to intimidate opposition or to try to silence them.
In Cameroon, President Paul Biya there has gone out to campaign ahead of the elections. This 92-year-old making a rare public appearance. First of all, what do you make of that? And what's notable about what he said in his address?
Well, thank goodness that the man is alive. So we were beginning to think that
Mm.
perhaps he is not even, um, you know, alive at some point because we knew that there were speculations of his health, and that he had been out of the country for a very long time. So at least he's shown up. He's shown up today. Actually, he showed up in public on a Tuesday, and as you can imagine, at a rally where he spoke. And on Sunday, that's when they have an election, August the 12th. So just a few days before the actual elections, that's when he shows up. We wonder how much it took for him to just make that public appearance. But secondly, the issues that he addresses are issues that have been long-standing. He's been president of Cameroon for 40 years. He's talking about security in the northern, far north part of Cameroon. That is a region that is been conflicted for many years. 20% of that population, in fact, most of the population in the northern part of Cameroon are Muslims, and the jihadist extremists in that region, and 20% make up the total population of registered voters. So he's talking to issues of security. There's a long time. He spoke of issues of empowering youth and young people and see to it that they succeed, that they go to school or that they become entrepreneurs. This is something that even any politician can pick up from a script anywhere under their shelf and try to sell it to the public. He talks about women participation in politics, and we're yet to see that.
So it's reported that he was returning from, or he had returned from Switzerland. Do we know his reason for his stay there?
He had been in Switzerland at least for the past week, and he has returned from Switzerland specifically for these elections. Now, we do know that he's been in and out of the country, and the people of Cameroon have never given reasons for him going to the European countries, overstaying, and sometimes people even not knowing where the president is. So this is nothing new. He is always in and out of the country, but speculation has it that he is very unwell, and it's because of his ill health. Has to live abroad and be able to seek medical attention.
Staying in Cameroon, 5 years after a mass protest led by the Cameroon Renaissance movement, 36 people were arrested during the demonstration, and these 36 remain in jail. Can you tell us more here?
Yes, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party was very effective in organizing boycotts and protests, and these were basically non-violent civil disobedience. So there was nothing in terms of criminality when it came to this. Now, the party that organized this, of course, it's a party of a man called Maurice Kamto, who is supposed to have been a presidential candidate in this election, but was barred in August of this year from running. And he was seen as the main contender against Paul Biya. Now, when these protests were effective, the police cracked down on these peaceful protesters, and over 500 of them were arrested, but most of them were released. But the high-profile political figures were still kept in jail, some of them sentenced to 5 and 7 years. And some of them, their term of service in these jails are actually coming to an end, including the former spokesperson to Maurice Kamto, including the treasurer of the political party itself. These are guys who are behind bars as political prisoners. They haven't committed any serious crime. Their crime was to organize civil disobedience and protests around Cameroon. And this is within the rights that are enshrined within their right to actually protest against anything that they disagree with the government. But they were arrested and put behind bars, in fact, under harsh punishment. And some of them, their terms of office are coming up to an end, a term of service are coming up to an end. But the Cameroonian government doesn't seem to care, and it seems like they're being held illegally, even more than the time that they were sentenced to.
All right, let's leave it there for today, Aaron, and thank you again for your time. Your plans for the weekend, do you know?
Um, Yet I think I should just be home this weekend, but thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Thanks for your time there, and we appreciate it. Always on Thursdays, we zoom into the Central African region with geopolitical analyst Aaron Ngambi. It's now 6:30 Central African time. Let's get our news headlines as we say good morning to Onele Tsinzi.